At 49, I was a struggling business coach, offering my services to people who couldn't really afford them, struggling to make ends meet. 2 years later, I was a university lecturer, lecturing at not just one, a couple of universities, and doing so many other things. And what was the difference? I wrote a book, Unleash Your Business Mojo. So if you want to know how a book can transform your life, keep watching. Hi guys, my name is Miss Mojo and I help people here create digital products, and the one I'm concentrating on today is books. Yeah, ebooks, paperbacks. I was a struggling business coach. Most of the people I was coaching could not afford my services. A lot of them had to rely on government funded programs. And I thought to myself, how can I reach more people outside of my local network? So you know what? It's about time I wrote that book I've been putting off. So I went ahead and wrote my first book, Unleash Your Business Mojo. Now, this book was not just about writing down my decades of experience. The book made me money and opened doors that I could never, ever have imagined. So what was the process like? So once I decided I was going to write the book, there was this NaNoWriMo. It's a 30-day challenge. You write 50,000 words in a month. So I decided this is what I'm going to do. So didn't have a name for the book, outlined it, and then every night, so I decided the best time of the day for me to write would be at night, so no little disturbance and all that. So around about 9, 10, and I actually wrote most of this book in bed, so I'll get into bed, get my laptop out, and just start typing 1,700 words every night. Now, of course, the beginning was great, had the momentum, the inspiration, the motivation, but come day 15, it got a bit tough. So that's when I had to really go deep. And actually, chapter 3 is where I actually wrote about mindsets, self-belief, all of that. And that's actually been one of my most popular chapters in the book. Anyway, and I use tools like Scrivener. If you're still using Word and Google Docs, you're behind. Come on to Scrivener. You can also dictate your books, but I'll be going into that later. So writing that book actually changed my life. Like I said, I was teaching at universities. I was also teaching on programs that were funded by the EU, MBA students, undergrads, entrepreneurship or business related subjects. I was also the lead academic on other funded programs that supported people who had come into the country and wanted to start up their own businesses. And that program took me to Europe. It took me to the House of Commons. Yes, I was literally traveling everywhere and getting paid as well to share my knowledge and expertise. In the midst of all that, I was also funded to do a postgraduate in teaching. I also became a fellow of higher education. So that book unlocked so many doors and kickstarted a whole new career. So I know the importance of writing a book, and I've since supported people to write their own books. The very last person I supported was actually my son, and that book has also opened doors for him. He's been able to meet people he would never really have met, and it's also changed his life. If you have the knowledge, experience, skills, what are you waiting for? You need to write your own book so you can get out there and start monetizing, start getting doors opened, start being able to do the things that you've always wanted to do, but you've been held back because you've got nothing to show. Having a book really is transformative. So let's talk about the process of writing a book. Now, I did say that you need to have a plan. One of the first things that people struggle with is what they're going to write their book about. Now, obviously, you need to do some kind of SWOT analysis, look at your own strengths, look at things you enjoy doing, things that people say you do very well. And also look at your failures, your challenges, your struggles, because it's in the midst of those struggles and how you've been able to overcome them that might actually be an opportunity for you to write a book about. Because if you've gone through a struggle or a challenge, chances are there are people out there who have gone through that as well and might be needing help to help them through that. And some examples are maybe you've overcome a bad relationship, maybe you've moved from one country to another, you've been able to do very well in your career, and you can help other people to do the same. Even something like what I'm doing now, I've written books, it's helped me, and I also want you to benefit from being able to distill your knowledge, experience, skills into a book so you can start making money and transforming lives. Once you've identified what it is you want to write about, get a plan of what exactly the book is going to look like, the chapters, what you want the book to do. Distill that. If someone asked you, what does this book do? You need to be able to, give them the benefits they will get from reading the book. Once you've done your outline, then you start writing. You give yourself how many words or how much time you're going to spend on the book every single day. If you can write every single day, that's great. If you can't, whatever days in the week, but this needs to be an agreement with yourself, and you need to hold yourself accountable. You need to treat it like a job, And then once the book is ready and you finish, now you go through the editing process, and there's so many tools that can help you, and I can talk about this in another video. So if you want help about how to edit your book, drop a comment below and I'll create a video about that. So once you've got your book out, then of course you need to start marketing it. The three most important things that are going to sell your book, as I've said before, is being able to distill your book into what it can do, because this will form the title and the metadata. The other thing is your book cover. Your book cover is very important. You need to look at book covers within your industry, within your niche, and make sure your book cover looks similar. Not the same, but similar. And of course, the third one is, are you going to write an ebook, paperback? Do you want an audiobook as well? So these are all books, and these can all be done online. And this is why they're now called digital products. You might be thinking, MOJO, I want to write a book, but I'm too old, and who cares about what I want to do? That's not true. And because of you, I've actually written a report where I do some research into these myths and also smash them because they're not true. Listen, the best time you could have written a book was probably 5-10 years ago, but the next best time is right now. There's a link in the description below. I can support you to achieve your dreams. If there's a book that you want to write, what is stopping you? Really, what is stopping you? We actually need to start writing our stories, how we see the world, so we can leave an impact for our descendants, because they will want to understand how we navigated this crazy world. One of those ways is being able to write a book. We need to begin to tell our own stories. And if you're over 40, you've got a lot to say. And share in the comments below. Have you ever wanted to write a book? Have you written one? What was the experience like for you? And I'll see you in my next video.